My Hebrew brothers and sisters, the 12 tribes of Israel scattered all over the earth. Welcome back. This is your Moriah Yeshua Ben Uriah Israel, and just want to take this moment to say thank you. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your likes and your comments. And we just continue to pray that, as you walk with Yahuwah, that, you will have a very sweet experience in serving Him. Let me say this, that, we just cannot follow in the footsteps of our ancestors. Because my brothers and sisters, I know you'll probably be tired of hearing me saying this, but I have to remind you. And while I'm reminding you, I'm reminding myself that the blessings that Yahuwah has for us, if we play around and act foolish, my brothers and sisters, we're going to miss out on it big time. We're going to miss out on it big time. So don't become complacent and, and do things and say things that those things don't bring glory and honor to Yahweh. And we find ourselves acting like our ancestors. We don't want to do that. We need to learn our lesson from them. And it's a hard lesson, okay? All right. So then, as we're scattered all over the earth, what is our duty? Shine. Wherever you are, shine for Yahweh. Shine for Him. My brothers and sisters, the Word tells us, the Scripture tells us, that Yahushua came not but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And so we need to make opportunity and take opportunity of this and share His word so that the lost sheep of the house of Israel, we don't know how many of that is a part of the remnant that are going to be saved. We don't know. But we need to spread the news, spread it regardless. And I'm glad, I don't know, because that would make me complacent. That would make me feel, well, have more time and so on. We don't know. Okay? All right. So then in verse 10, we stop in verse 10. Verse 10 using the word forsaken there, and we say that Yahuwah is not going to leave us. He's not going to forsake us and leave us destitute. And especially those of us who seek Him. In verse 11 it said, sing praises to Yahuwah, which dwelleth in Zion, declare among the people His doings. Okay, and so David here in Psalm 9, in verse 11, is saying there to sing praises to Yahuwah. And this Yahuwah dwells in Zion. And he said we have to declare among the people, declare among the Gentile people, declare among them His doings. Now let's look at the word declare here. Declare is nagash, and nun, gimel, and dalet, meaning to front, that is to stand boldly out, opposite in manifest, again to manifest, to announce, always by word of mouth, and said to praise, and certainly certify, expound the messengers, declare, profess, rehearse, report, show forth, speak. And then he said, surely tell and utter. So this is what he's saying here. That's what the word declare here. Declare among the people. Declare among the people, my brothers, my sisters. And the people here in verse 11, there's a word, as a key word, it said, people is and it's ayin and mem. There's two letters that make up that word, ayin and mem, and it's meaning people as, you know, as a unit, as a tribe, as those of Israel, you know, as a troop, is, you know, attended a flock, or, you know, flock are men, or nation, or people. He said we have to declare among the people. Praise his name, declare among the people. In verse 12, he said, when he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembered them, for he forget not the cry of the humble. All right. So the word inquisition here is darash, and it's dalet, resh, and ayin. And the meaning here, my brothers, my sisters, is to tread on, or to frequent, you know, usually to follow, first, you know, pursuit, or to search, to seek, or to ask, to worship, ask, care for, diligently, inquire, make inquisition, question, relinquish. Not really relinquish, but require, search, seek for, seek out, surely. And what the word is saying here, it said, when he maketh inquisition for blood, he remember them. He remember his people. And he said, he forget not the cry of the humble. My brothers, my sisters, when we cry out to Yahuwah, when we call out to Yahuwah, you see, it's easy for us to forget. You know, we say this is why we have to write things down, because, you know, our finite mind cannot remember everything. You know, we're not infinite. Only Yahuwah is. So we tend to forget things, and, you know, but Yahuwah not going to forget. He's not going to forget. He said, he forgetteth not the cry of the humble. So when we cry out to Yahuwah, he remembers. So inquisition here, look at the word blood. He said, when he maketh inquisition for blood. Blood is dam, and dalet, and mem. And this word blood, as that which when shed cause death. Of a man or a woman or animal, or by analogy, the juice of the grape, bloodshed, that is, drops of blood, bloody, guiltiness, bloodthirsty, or innocent. Okay, that's what the word blood there is. And in verse 12, remember, look at this, let me read it again. He says, when he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble. Remembereth is a key word there. And it is Zakar, Zain, Kaf, and Resh. And this word, my brothers and my sisters, meaning to work so as to be recognized, to remember, to mention, to make mention of, or to be mindful, to recount, record, make to be remembered, remembrance, still, think on, well. So the word here that he's not going to forget. He's not going to forget. Yahuwah remembers everything. He doesn't have to write things down in the book like we do, because he's omniscient. He doesn't have to be at this place as we do, because he's omnipresent. We look at something and we can't manage it. We can't, because we're weak. We're not powerful. He's omnipotent. This is the kind of Yahuwah that we serve. We don't serve a weak Yahuwah. We don't serve a Yahuwah that when the enemy start coming, he runs off and leaves us. No. He stood up with his host of angels, my brothers and my sisters. Host of messengers. He stood up and he fought them off for us. Praise his holy name. Praise his name. All right. Look with me in verse 13. Look with me in verse 13. Look with me in verse 13. He said, here David is crying out to Yahuwah. Have mercy on me, O Yahuwah. And he said, consider my trouble, which I suffer of them that hate me. He said, thou liftest me out of the gates of hell, or gates of death. Okay, so here we see then, have mercy. Karnan is the Hebrew word there. Karnan. Chet, Nun, and Nun. And we have the meaning here to be bend or stoop in kindness to an inferior, okay, to show favor, to bestow, to cause, to implore, to move to favor by petition, beseech, fear, be, find, show favor, give or grant favor, gracious, graciously, graciousness, entreat, merciful, have mercy, on, upon, have pity upon, pray, make supplication, and bury. Okay, so my brother, here is David supplicating. When you pray for yourself, you supplicate. When you pray for others, you intercede. And here David is making supplication to Yahuwah. And the first thing he's asking him to do is to have mercy upon him. To have mercy upon him. And so we see there that Yahuwah, my brothers and sisters, he will bend. He will bend and will stoop in kindness and to the inferior, where is inferior. And we ask him, we supplicate, we make petition to him on our behalf, and we intercede on others, on behalf of others. Yahuwah is so kind and so loving. He will stoop to have mercy on us, to grant favor, to bestow and to cause, to implore, to move, to favor us. Yes, my brothers and my sisters, he is the Yahuwah that we serve. He is the Yahuwah that we serve. In verse 13, it says, consider. He said, have mercy upon me, O Yahuwah. He said, consider my trouble, which I suffer. And he suffered this trouble of them that hate him. They are the cause of his trouble, his enemies. Ra'ah, Resh, Aleph, and Hey. That's what consider here is. Meaning to see, literally or figuratively, in numerous applications, direct or implied. Advice, self, appear, approve, or reprove. Behold, certainly, consider, discern, make, enjoy, have, experience, gaze, take heed, joyfully, to look on one another, one on another, one upon another, out, up, upon, mark, meet, respect, perceive, present, provide, regard, think, bury, vision. These are all the words that, have in that one word, consider, ra'ah. And like I said, it's used in a great variety of applications. And but my brother said, when you consider, it's a consider. Yahweh discern. And my brothers and my sisters, when we're going through trouble, it don't seem like there's an enjoyment. This trouble is not an enjoyment as far as we look at it, right? Because we're going through trouble. We're having problems. We're having issues that we have to deal with, and it makes us uneasy at times. But remember this, that Yahuwah is right there with us. He is right there with us. And in the same verse, he said, Yahuwah has lifted him up from the gates of death. Death here is Ma'aveth. And Mem, Bab, and Tav, meaning death or violent. The dead, their place or state. And then sometimes we see the word Hades. And figuratively, pestilence, or ruin, or be dead, die, or died, or so. So this word dead here. Okay? In verse 14, David said, in verse 14, now if you notice that verse 13 ends with a colon, and when it ends with a colon, it means that there's additional information following that verse. That verse is not complete. If it was completed, it will be complete with a period. But it has a colon, means that we continue. Okay? And so I continue in verse 14. Why he want to ask Yahuwah to have mercy on him? And then, why did Yahuwah lift him up from the gates of death? Why? Okay, in verse 14, he said, that I may show forth all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. And he said, I will rejoice in thy salvation. So Yahuwah lift him up so that he can give praise to him. He lift him up so that he can give praise to him. And I noticed that, my brother, he said, that I may show forth not some of thy praise, but all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. So everywhere he can, among his people, he's going to show forth Yahuwah's praise. He's going to show forth his praise, my brothers and my sisters. Salvation. He said, I will rejoice in thy salvation. Okay, salvation here is Yeshua. 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 And is Yod, Shin, Vav, Ein, and He. Meaning something saved, deliverance. Hence, aid, victory, prosperity, deliverance, help, salvation, saving, welfare. I've mentioned before on this word salvation here that you know, among Christians, salvation is just one word. When they say salvation, it means one thing to them. I mean, just being saved from sin. But this word has a lot more to do than just being saved from sin. Being saved from sin, being saved from your enemy, being delivered from your enemy, being justified, where Yahuwah justified us, and He look on us when we are awakened and we come to Him, we turn our lives over to Him. He look on us as if we have never sinned. And then He sanctifies us. That's a part of salvation too. Sanctification. Where He set us apart. And adoption is a part of salvation. So those Gentile brethren that came in, right? They've been adopted in to the family of Yahuwah. when they turn their life over and start serving Him, they're keeping His commandments and doing the things that bring glory and praise to His name. So the word salvation here is an all-inclusive word and means a whole lot more than just being saved from your sin. Okay, all right. So then, look at verse 15. Look at verse 15. So David, he is going to sing praises, and he's going to share it. He's going to, he's going to show forth his praises, of the daughter, in the gates of the daughters of Zion, and he's going to rejoice in his salvation. And in verse 15 he said, listen what he said in verse 15. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. Oh my goodness. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, in the net which they hid as their own foot taken. Okay, so the net, their own foot is taken. Their own foot is taken. Alright. So then, he said, the heathen here. Okay? We know that the heathen referring to the Gentile people. Okay? A lot of people don't like you to use the word heathen, but that's what it is in the scripture. Okay? At one point, before we became enlightened, we used to believe that we were the heathen because we were told that early, of course, in general, I'm talking in general here. I wasn't told I was a heathen when I was a little kid growing up because I grew up into a Messianic Hebrew family. My parents were, okay? So we were not told that we were heathen. We were told that we were children of Abraham and Jacob, okay? But, and what you call the covenanted theology, the term was used in our house a great deal. Okay? Alright? That we inherit the covenant that Yahuwah made to Abraham, to Isaac and to Jacob. We inherited that because we were his descendants, are their descendants. But the pit here, I want to know the word pit is shaka, shark shin chet tav, meaning the pit, especially as a trap, figuratively destruction, corruption, destruction, a ditch, a grave, a pit. So he said that they are sunk down in the pit that they have made. Do you remember the story with when Haman made the gallows in the book of Esther? Remember? Mordecai was Esther's uncle or cousin, whatever, and they were promoting. A matter of fact, they were promoting. Some people believe that's where Judaism started, when they were in Persia. But we know that they were not doing animal sacrifices and so on. And they were teaching, the Shema. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our Yahuwah, our Elohim, or Elohim, he is one. And so in Persia there were, multiple gods and so like that, and then they were not going to bow for that and so. And then they were getting very prosperous in the land, and under Artaxerxes and those people, right? And in Persia. So what happened? Haman was jealous of them, and he wanted to wipe them out, and was setting up his gallows to hang, Mordecai and all those people. And then after, Esther was crowned as a queen and so on, she went in with a request for the people. And it turned around that Haman had a great feast. And he went to the feast, thought he was going to be honored. And to find out that, he and his family was going to be wiped out. So the own gallows he made for, for Mordecai and the people, he got caught into it. Right, he got caught with it. So the pit that he made, he got caught into it. And look at the word made there. Which their own pit that they made is Asha, Ayin, sin, and this word is not shin, this is sin. Okay? And hey, meaning to do or to make in the broadest sense and the widest application as follows: accomplish, advance, appoint, apt, be at, become, bear, bestow, bring forth, or bruise, be busy, certainly have the charge of, commit, and he said, deal with, deck, displeasure or displease, do really, already, dressed, fight, fighting, finish, exercise, govern, grant, great, hinder, hold, is a hold a feast, indeed, industrious, journey, keep, labor, maintenance, prepare, is a procure, provide, sacrifice, and serve, work, and yield. So my brothers and my sisters, what is saying here? All of these words that I call involved in the word made here. You see? They're sunk down in the pit, but all of this effort that they put in, okay? A lot of effort they put in here to build, to dig this pit. It's like a trap. And when the enemy is after you, they will do a whole lot of things just to get you. When you're sleeping and, they're out, busy, spying, looking around, trying to find ways, trying to trump up, people, to help them with their craftiness, They're in charge, so they're going to do a lot of stuff. They're showing that they're committed to a cause, and they're going to do a lot of stuff. So they're going to deal, and you know, and what they do, they're going to show that they're displeased with what Yahuwah's children are doing. Or they're displeased with Yahuwah. They can't catch Yahuwah, so they're going to catch his children. You know? They're ready. They're dressed ready for fighting. And they're not going to stop until they finish. They're going to exercise. They're going to govern, and they're going to grant. They're going to hinder. They're going to do everything. They're going to hold feast. They're going to have a good time. They're going to act industrious. Like, look what I've done. You know? Govern. They're going to journey. They'll travel as far as they can to do that. And they'll keep, and they're going to labor, and they're going to maintain, you know, and prepare, you know, and procure and provide whatever. They're going to make sacrifices, whatever they can, you know, to work towards causing confusion for you. But this is what he said here. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. So they hid the net, but they forget that where the net is, and so it caught them. You know, they get caught into it. They forget caught. They forget caught. Their own foot is taken. We're going to stop here and we'll come back. What we're going to ask you to do, my brothers and my sisters, is to be a blessing to someone today and walk with the King. Shalom.